music. Hi there. We are going to talk about our plan for Monday. This is February 25th. I am recording this during second period, and two things I want to discuss. We might have to turn this into two videos, but first of all is our plan for this week. Guys, the only assignment for today, I don't have it up here, I should, is how to, a discussion on these articles really quickly and how that annotation should be done. And the other thing is the genetics practice worksheet. So if you have that out, or if you don't, go ahead and take that out now, and hopefully we get to take some questions on that in just a minute. Hey guys, I do want to call your attention down here. It says genetics worksheets due. That is tomorrow, along with the video notes check. So I hope you have both videos for this unit. I hope you have this genetics worksheet, which we're going to take some questions on here in just a little bit. The other thing, the plan for the rest of this week, I put an announcement up on my board. If you gave me an NHS recommendation and you didn't put your name on it, please see me. I get a bunch of those, and I have an empty one up here, and I'd hate to not turn one in because I forgot who gave me that form. The other thing is we are going to check off the genetics worksheet tomorrow with our video notes. We're also going to review for the genetics exam. I'm going to make another video then going over the review for the genetics exam because I've been told quite a few people won't be here. And then our practice is to take our plan is to take the genetics exam block day of this week. Friday is originally planned. We were going to grade FRQs. I think I'm going to change that as well because I am gone Friday. I apologize for the absences. Let's go ahead and start by talking about these article annotations. All right, this is a quick article about how to annotate text. I'll put this on Google Classroom in case anybody has any questions. Most students at this point in their high school careers have annotated an article before. So I have two articles. Guys, really quickly, this is not an uncommon practice even at the college level. And basically, I wanted to try to give you some examples of how to annotate text. First of all, make sure you go through and scan the document that you're about to annotate. Read the first paragraph, second paragraph. You should find the big idea. Number two, you should underline topic sentences or phrases that express the main idea. You should never underline more than 5 words, though, for large paragraphs or block text. Write in the margins next to these. Guys, when I grade these, I'm really looking for the comments off to the side or above or below where you can put those. Number 3, connect related ideas by drawing arrows from one to the other. Number 4, if you encounter an idea, word, or phrase you don't understand, circle it. Put a question mark next to it. Go ahead and write your question too, like they're showing you in red right here. Right here. Number 5 says, anytime the author makes a statement you can connect with on a personal level, go ahead and describe that. Their example here is the worm disease incapacitates victims for extended period of time. The student writes, my dad was sick for a while and couldn't work. This was hard on our family. Again, these are just examples. And then number 6, place a box around any term or phrase that emphasizes scientific language. These could be words you're not familiar with. You could define those in the margin later. If, for example, their word was eradicated, they had to define that to say put to an end, destroy, etc. Hey guys, here's the kind of the thing, summarization of it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I'll put this document up on Google Classroom. So let's go back to this now. You have 2 choices of articles today. And I want to explain both of these. For my class, second period, we have them over by the window. I might move them for the other periods. Don't get up and get those right now. Let me just kind of explain what each one is. The first one is called A Polygamous Town Facing Genetic Disaster. And I like it because it's talking about how inbreeding still can take place in our today's society. So, is there a question? No, we're good? Yeah. Yes, good point. Guys, this is going to go into your bill. So when I bring up the bill table of contents, I originally at one time said, 94, we're done with genetics. We're going to make assignment number 95. And I've put blank paper up by the sink. So maybe not right now, but just in a little bit, if you guys want to make a pocket for the annotated article of your choice, that would be great. Hey guys, I want to start talking about this first one, A Polygamous Town Facing a Genetic Disaster. First of all, I have to be careful with this, and the reason why is because this is about a group that lives not far away from us, the fundamental Latter-day Saints. You might have seen them in the TLC versions where they still practice polygamy. They practice some other things. But guys, here's the biggest thing I want everybody to hear. This group in no way represents the LDS students. If you're Mormon, this is not that group. And my biggest concern, I have to be honest with you, is I don't want students reading this article and then pointing to our Mormon friends and saying, "Oh, this is about you." That would be completely wrong. And also, if you are LDS and you feel like somebody's trying to give you a hard time because of this, and they're just being out of ignorance, please let me know. I don't want any type of misinformation going out there. So I'm asking second period. Does that kind of make sense? You guys know these two groups are not. They share similar names, but please, if somebody was FLDS, they would not attend this school. I can guarantee you. Okay, they live in an own separate community. Please don't get those two mixed up. The other thing about this article, I talked to students last year. It was the first time I gave this article as an assignment, and I was really careful. I wanted to ask some of my Mormon students, what did you think of it? And it was across the board. Some thought, no big deal. Others liked it. But there was one or two that felt like, oh, this wasn't completely accurate. And I agree. This first part of the article, they're trying to put words into Brigham Young's mouth, which I agree. That's probably not the right thing to do for this article. I did think about scrapping the article because of that. But I do like what the rest of the article is about, and that's about if you share the same genes over and over and over, you're going to lead to some major diseases, and this is happening in our time. So I think that's pretty good. I hope I don't have to say anything else about that, but if you have questions or concerns, please come talk to me. We're not trying to exclude or pick on any group, and if you feel that you are being picked on, please let me know right away. So that's a quick word on that. I think that makes sense. Now, here's the thing I'm doing this year. In case you don't want to read that article, okay, for whatever reason, there is another article up here called Inhibition of Jumping Genes Promotes Healthy Aging. And so I clicked on that one really quickly. Tallulah, don't touch it. Just kidding. It's okay. You can grab it. And it's called this one. And so it's kind of like an alternative. It's the same length, the same amount of material. There's a big image in here. It's a little bit more complicated, but it's also really interesting because it's talking about jumping genes, which we really didn't talk too much about, but I'd like to on the day of our review. Second period, do you guys have any questions about either of these articles? Okay, if you do, and if you have any concerns, please let me know. All right, so that's for our articles. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask second period is to go ahead and take out their worksheet for the genetics worksheet that looks like this. And I was hoping that we could go over any questions. Guys, I have just a few more minutes in the video, but maybe we could get a few of these out of the way now. Second period, do you have any questions about this worksheet or any of these problems? Second period has it all done, and it's done perfectly. So if fifth or seventh period doesn't have that done, you're way behind second period, obviously. But even if you do have it all the way done, was there something you'd like to revisit? Okay, I'm going to jump in. And I know that I originally had students come to me and ask me questions about number 1. Guys, let's just talk about number 1 really quickly. And what I want you to know about this one is it brings up this idea of a true breeding plant. And this one, a plant with purple flowers. And it's crossed with a true breeding plant with white flowers. And I had a few students come up to me and say, what does that mean, true breeding? Is there a question? Oh, no. Not yet. Okay. So the pea plant that we're going to analyze is the F1 offspring. Hey guys, don't forget we have the P generation, the F1 generation, and then the F2 generation. So this is the generation we want to analyze. But what is a true breeding plant with purple flowers? Yes, exactly. Homozygous dominant, okay? If purple flowers was dominant to that, it does say the white flowers are recessive. So I'm going to call this my true breeding purple plant. If I'm going to cross that with the true breeding white flower plant, I'm going to use lowercase p. It really doesn't matter which symbols you use, but I feel in this case, these are the examples that I would use. Lowercase p for the recessive and uppercase p's for the dominant purple flower plant. Any questions? All right, hopefully that helps you get started on that one. Let's scroll down to number 2. We have about 5 minutes left of the video. All right, this one's a little bit challenging. I've told you on a test, I don't want you to do a 4x4 Punnett square, but this particular one is asking you to do a 4x4 Punnett square. So I won't ask you to do it on the test, but I would like you to do it on this worksheet. It does say draw the Punnett square right here. So a 4x4, set this up. In fact, I might use this as an example. I'll just do this. Go ahead, Audrey.
Would you okay if we did 2 Punnett squares?
Oh, yes, absolutely. If you'd like to do 2 Punnett squares, that works too. I do want you to see eventually how to use a 4x4. In fact, we do have one on the study guide, so we might visit that tomorrow. But yes, that's probably good. It's probably a smarter idea to use 2 Punnett squares. But I do want you to be able to see, in fact, if you did use 2 Punnett squares, make sure your answers kind of look similar to what we get for this. If you want to do a 4x4 Punnett square, hey guys, I just want to kind of show you this trick. Remember that this big H needs to go with this big B. So my first one can kind of look like big H, big B. This big H also has to go with my little b because we're going to separate those out, law of segregation, H, little b. And then different color, I now need to put my big B with my big H. So I always want to list the H first. I could say H, little h, big B. And over here, there's my, well, I did that backwards, excuse me. Little h goes with big B. Little h also goes with little b. So little h, little b. If I wanted to, I would just copy exactly what I have over here on this side. Little h, big B. Little h, little b. Or I could just change colors and make sure I get big H, big B, big H, little b. Now, when I fill this in, I'm not going to do every one, but the first one, I want to make sure I put my H's together. So big H, and then crossed with big B, big B. That would be how you do a 16 square Punnett square. Guys, one thing I want you to start to notice now is whenever we cross heterozygotes in a 4x4 Punnett square, we always get a ratio of 9 to 3 to 3 to 1, just like you saw on the corn. So, any questions on this? Okay, that's number 2. Let's see, is there anything else? Number 3, straightforward, as long as you know how to multiply fractions. Let's go up. I copied this incorrectly. I put the backside first, but let's start with number 4. I think is fairly straightforward. We have, just make sure you're using the correct alleles. When we get to number 7, you will see something like this on the test. Whenever we're talking about sex-linked genes and you're doing a Punnett square, try to get this up really quickly. Punnett square for this, so I've got my 1, 2, 3, 4. Whenever we do this, we always want to make sure we're using the sex alleles. So I'm going to put the XY up at the top, and I'm going to put the female XX off to the side. So again, it's typically whenever they ask you to make a Punnett square and they're talking about something that's sex-linked, you always want to use the X and Y chromosomes. So for this one, we have just a few seconds left. It says, color blindness is sex-linked and recessive. If a woman is colorblind, what percent of her sons will be colorblind? The only way a woman can be colorblind is if she has the allele right here. Okay? It doesn't say anything about the man. She would have to have both X's have that colorblind allele. Because if she doesn't, if she just has one, she's going to express the one that does not have color blindness. So the only way to get a colorblind woman would to show her with both those alleles. Hey guys, I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, you're welcome to come see me or email me.